So here's a question for you. When crime is dropping nationwide and homicides are at historic lows, and when deportations are actually working, why are the Democrats all suddenly using the same exact word to describe Trump's America? This word is chaos. Well, I'm going to show you the coordinated campaign strategy they're running for 2026. But here's the twist. The data proves that the Democrats are lying. Welcome back to America First Alerts, and for the new viewers, stick around, because I'm about to show you is the Democrat playbook for the next 2 years going into the midterms. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. So here's what we're unpacking today. Why they picked this particular incident in Minneapolis to launch their entire 2026 midterm strategy. What the actual crime data shows and why it destroys their narrative, and more importantly, how we counter this when every Democrat, from Chuck Schumer onto your local mayor, starts parroting the same talking points. So if you love Donald Trump and you value analysis that connects the dots that others miss, please go ahead and subscribe down below, because I've been tracking this pattern and it's about to get intense. So let's dig in. So here's how I noticed this. I'm on the phone with my dad yesterday, and he watches the mainstream news a little more than I do, and probably more than he should. And this is what he says to me. Why is everybody saying Trump is causing chaos? Didn't crime go down? So I asked him, who's everybody? And he rattles off Walz in Minnesota. And Schumer was on MSNBC right now and said the same thing. And that woke little mayor of Minneapolis, well, he said it too. And then some California politician said it. They're all using the word chaos. And I was thinking that's kind of weird, probably not a coincidence, because it's super specific. So I started digging in. And what I found? Look, I've covered coordinated messaging before, and the midterms are just a couple months away, so everybody's getting prepared. But this is the 2026 Democrat strategy just handed to us on a silver platter. So let me show you what they're doing. So yesterday was the incident that kicked off everything. Downtown Minneapolis, an ICE agent shoots a woman during an operation. Fortunately, that woman dies. It's a complete tragedy. So is there an investigation that's needed? Absolutely. But watch how the Democrats immediately weaponized it. Tim Walz holds a press conference, and he says, and I'm quoting here, when you watch the videos, you see total chaos. Not a tragic incident, not under investigation, chaos. Then Mayor Jacob Frey jumps in. The presence of federal immigration enforcement agents is causing chaos in our city. There's that word again. Then Chuck Schumer, literally hours later on MS Now, says,
and the bottom line is very simple, Jen. We should not have ICE agents patrolling our streets. They're not needed, they create chaos, and they even create deaths. The mayor of Minneapolis didn't want them. So many other cities didn't. This is sort of Trump strutting around. But they don't belong in our cities, plain and simple. We need a full investigation here as to what happened.
So chaos, chaos, chaos. Are you starting to see it? Before we go any further, comment down below. Have you noticed this word? Because it's popping up everywhere anytime a Democrat opens their mouth. Let me know, yes or no, down below. So why the word chaos? Well, it's because the Democrats polled it, they tested it, and they found out it works with suburban voters who aren't paying very close attention. And here's the genius, and I kind of mean this in the most cynical possible way. Here's their genius strategy. Chaos is vague. You can't apply it to anything. ICE arrests? Chaos. Deportation? Chaos. Federal agents doing their job? Chaos. It's not specific enough to fact check. But it feels bad. Nobody wants chaos. And what's the opposite of chaos? Order, peace, stability. So the Democrats going into the midterm elections are now positioning themselves as the party of stability, as the adults in the room, the ones who will bring back peace. They just want you to forget, though, that they created this chaos by letting 14 million illegal migrants flood into the country. And never mind that crime spiked under Biden and is now dropping under Trump. And never mind that Minneapolis, Walz's own city, has higher homicides than ever before. They're banking on you not knowing these facts. They're betting that you're a low IQ voter and that you just hear chaos and think, oh, Trump bad, Democrats good. And you know what? For low information voters, it might work, which is why we need to arm ourselves with the actual data. So let me give you the numbers that they don't want you to see. According to analyst Jeff Asher, who's been quoted even by far left outlets, the homicide rate nationwide dropped 16% in 2024. That's the fastest rate of decline on record. We're back actually to pre-pandemic levels, which means that Trump's policies are working. But here's the kicker. Minneapolis, Tim Walz's Minneapolis, it went up. 76 homicides in 2024, up from 72 in 23. And compare that to 48 homicides in 2019. So while the nation is getting safer under Trump, Minnesota under Walz is getting more dangerous. But Walz has the audacity to stand at the podium and call Trump the chaos agent. The projection by the Democrats is absolutely insane. And it gets worse because this isn't the first time the Democrats have run this exact playbook. Remember 2014? Barack Obama and the media amplified the hands up, don't shoot after Michael Brown was shot by the police. It turned out that narrative was completely false, but it sparked riots, and those were riots that the Democrats wanted. This violence, the division, the Democrats loved it, and they used it to win elections by positioning themselves as the ones who would bring peace. And another example, remember 2020? George Floyd dies during an arrest. It was tragic, but the Democrats used it to justify months of riots. At least 40 people were killed in these riots alone. And thousands more died in the following years as police have pulled back from high crime areas. USA Today, it's not exactly a right-wing outlet, admitted in 2021 that deadly violence rose as engaged policing fell. Democrats caused the chaos, and then they blamed the Republicans. And the last step is obvious. They promised to fix the same chaos that they caused. It's the same cycle, and they're running it again in 2026. But the difference is this. We can actually see it coming, and we can position ourselves better. So let me pause for a second. Tell me in the comments down below, what's your one word that you would use to describe this Democrat strategy? The best answer gets pinned. Now, if you're still with me, you're going to love this next part because it exposes the whole Democrat operation. Make sure you hit that like button and let's get going. So I went through the receipts and I found Democrats have been coordinating on chaos since November 2024. Todd Schulte, a big pro-migration lobbyist for the West Coast donors, he told his supporters in November this: I think it's really important to pin this on Donald Trump. Pin what on Donald Trump? The chaos. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat leader in the House, said this in February: we need less conflict and less chaos. Karen Bass, the DEI hire in Los Angeles in June, said this: what we're seeing is chaos provoked by the Trump administration. Gavin Newsom said that same day, Trump is hoping for chaos. Are you seeing the pattern? It's not organic, folks. This isn't just a coincidence. This is a coordinated messaging strategy rolled out over months, waiting for the right moment to activate it. And that moment was yesterday in Minneapolis. Now, every Democrat from senators to mayors have their talking points, and they're all saying the same thing. Actually, let me correct myself because this is an important point. 30 Democratic senators signed a letter this week claiming that Trump's deportation efforts are dismantling the very institutions that protect Americans. 30 senators. A coordinated letter, the same message, This is not grassroots. This is actually AstroTurf. This is what the Democrat machine looks like. And here's what really gets me. They're using a woman's death, actually a human tragedy, and they're turning it into a campaign slogan, and they've done that each of the last big election cycles. Same thing. So does that sit right with you? So let me know what you think in the comments down below, because here's what's really happening on the ground. And this is the stuff that they don't want to tell you. Trump's Department of Homeland Security is literally broadcasting their successes daily. Dangerous criminals are arrested, gang members are deported, repeat offenders are removed, and car thefts are plummeting because Trump's cracking down on illegal migrants that were often involved in these organized theft rings. House prices are stabilizing because the demand pressure that 14 million illegal migrants put on the market, well, that's easing. Wages are going up because American workers aren't competing against unlimited illegal Biden labor. So this is actually the opposite of chaos. This is restoration of order. But the Democrats can't admit that. I mean, it's obvious. If they admit that Trump's policies are working, they lose their entire 2026 strategy. So instead, they point to one incident, one shooting that's under an investigation, and they call the entire operation chaos. They're manipulating the American people, and it's totally cynical. And frankly, it's kind of evil. Now, I did a whole breakdown on Minnesota's corruption and fraud issues, and if you haven't seen that, check out my video on the Walz administration right here. Because the Democratic machine and their corruption runs deep, and this chaos narrative is just their way of deflecting. What the Democrats don't understand is that Americans aren't stupid. You can throw around focus grouped words like chaos all you want, but people see their neighborhoods getting safer. They see that crime is dropping, and they see fewer homeless encampments all around their towns and cities. Even better, they see their property values stabilizing. And when the Democrats stand there and tell them, this is chaos, the American people actually with a brain look around and say, this kind of feels the opposite of chaos. I mean, the Biden years, that was what chaos was. Open borders, inflation, crime was spiking in every one of our cities. There were riots in the streets. In the Trump years, order is being restored, law is being enforced, and America is being protected. So yeah, the Democrats can run their little chaos campaign. They can coordinate their talking points and get their 30 senators to sign letters, but the reality is this. America has a way of breaking through their propaganda. That's why Donald Trump is back in office. And that's what we're seeing actually right now. This breaking point with the Democrats' chaos message and Trump's ability to stabilize the nation. So here's what you need to understand about what's coming in the next few months. The Democrats are all in on the strategy for 2026. Every single incident, every ICE arrest, every deportation, every enforcement action, they're gonna call it chaos. And they're gonna hope that you forget that crime is actually down, that the border is more secure, and that American communities are safer under Donald Trump. They're gonna hope that you forget that they opened the border in the first place. They're counting on short memories and low information voters, but we're not gonna let them get away with that. Every time they say chaos, we need to actually respond with the data. Every time that they claim Trump is destabilizing communities, we need to show the crime statistics. And every time they weaponize a tragedy for their political gain, we need to call it out because the truth is on our side. The numbers are on our side, and reality is on our side. And in 2026, voters are going to remember who actually kept them safe. All right, so here's what I need you to do. First, hit that like button if you haven't done that. Again, we need to get the YouTube algorithm kind of working in our favor. Second, comment and finish this sentence down below. The real chaos in America is caused by, let me know your thought. If you haven't yet, definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell, because the Democrats are doubling down on this strategy, and I'm going to expose them every single day as they roll this out further. Look, here's the bottom line. The Democrats lost in 2024 badly, so they're recycling this old playbook, trying to make it work. They're trying to create and exploit chaos. Blame Republicans. Promise to restore order. They did it in 2014 with Ferguson. They did it in 2020 with George Floyd. And they're doing it again in 2026 with Minneapolis. But the difference this time is that we can see the pattern. We know the game. We've got the receipts. So Tim Walz can stand at his podium all day long and say chaos. And Chuck Schumer, he can go on to any cable network he wants with his scripted lines. And the California politicians, they can pretend that Trump is the problem. But the American people aren't buying it anymore, because when they look around their communities, they don't see chaos from Trump. They see order being restored. They see criminals being deported, and they see their neighborhoods getting safer. And that's what has the Democrats completely terrified. Because if Americans realize Trump is actually fixing the chaos Biden created, well, then the Democrats have nothing left to do or run on in 2026. So they're gonna scream chaos louder and louder, hoping that the volume makes up for the lack of truth and facts on their side. But we're not falling for it. We're gonna make sure that nobody else does either. So stay informed, stay focused, and remember, the louder they scream about chaos, the more desperate they are. Because deep down, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats know that they're losing. So God bless America. I'll see you in the next one, and keep fighting the good fight.
Okay, let's go.